The test. Hello, I'm 33 and my wife is 30. We have been married 12 years together, 14. We have a 9-year-old son together and we were a close, happy family. My wife has been my best friend and I hers the whole marriage. We had a rough patch about 5 years ago after her dad died. When looked at her phone and seen she was cheating with a guy known to seduce a lot of married women, we sort of worked through it, but I was hurt. I cheated also, then told her about it. We forgave each other and moved on. I occasionally have to work out of town. Last September I had to be out of town during the weekdays for 3 months, then towards Thanksgiving I got to come home for work. Just after Christmas I had a feeling, so I checked her Google location. I see she had gone to her best friend's brother's house after I was asleep, which at same time that she cheated before I was told she slept with him, to which she denies. I didn't say anything. The next night she said she was going to run to Wendy's, which is 10 minutes away. She returned an hour later, no Wendy's, and said she got a ticket. I looked in her car and was no ticket. I got mad and called her out on it, in which she left and went to her mom's. Few days later all seemed to be smoothing over, but then she said it was over. Of course, I was weak, broke down, begged her not to. 3 weeks later my 9-year-old said she had a new boyfriend. It was him. Shortly after he moved in the back apartment with her at my mother-in-law's. I was determined to win her back, so I started working on myself hard. I was also working 6 days a week. About a month and a half of this and very little contact. She texts she misses me. Can we have got on a date? So, we went on a few dates. She had him move out, but he still went around. Then she invited me to stay at her mom's one night. So, I did. I never asked why, but they broke up, and from sounds of it he was bitter. I was very happy, but wife still would not kiss or sleep together. She let me cuddle with her, that was all. About a week later I seen his truck at her house again, so we went back to very little communication for maybe another month or two. We got to where we go on lunch dates when he's not around, and she sends a lot of mixed signals and tells me she knows she won't stay with him. She is just having fun. I am financially better off and a much better father, plus very good to her. Even recently I asked her if it was serious for her. She said no, that's why she doesn't ask anything from him. That I know to be true, cause I even have to take their trash trailer still, and he has a truck too. She has started giving not such a cold hug and even a decent kiss other day. He started living with her again during this time. Even tomorrow was supposed to go on a day date. Although it was originally going to be an overnight, she says we have to take things slow. She repeatedly tells me she didn't leave me for him, that she did it for herself. I admit I could be better husband and have realized this in my time apart. I don't want to give up hope. She has also told me to date when I asked her if it was for me to move on or be even. She said even that way we both had fun. When she left me, she stated how it's my fault, I am too controlling, and I did take perks here and just for the fun. Although never out of control, I enjoyed the energy, and although she would get them for me sometimes because she was very loving. Didn't like it, and also stated that as a reason. I have not since taken one and would stop had she ever asked. She also does show some remorse to the situation but won't end this, although is supposedly working on our marriage. I made a lot of money during this time and have spent most of it spoiling her and paying all her bills still, which I know I shouldn't. The time years ago she cheated. I was very upset from it at the time, although I boiled it down to her being upset from dad dying a year before. Her and her friend were drinking one night. She went to bed, and me and the friend were discussing it, as she had also messed with the guy. Mistakes happened and I confessed to it 2 days later as I felt so bad. She said she figured I would and wasn't mad at all. Now that I think about it, is strange. As most men need attraction, and my wife is gorgeous. I'm skinny, have bad acne scarring, so it's hard to see me finding a woman I will once again be attracted to. I cheated after, but that was the first time she cheated, and I knew that my getting back was wrong, thus why I told her immediately. And second, I got mad doesn't mean I physically or emotionally abused her. Means I was actually able to call her on her lies and not just giving in to what she wanted me to believe. I may be weak in all of this, but I'm a man who believes I should provide. That means provide protection, security, and happiness. I've never and will never do those things. I guess I thought if it was honorable to do the things I was, because I do believe in my vows. I was supposed to go out with her today. But instead, I started respecting myself and told her no, I am sick of this and I deserve love, respect, and affection. I have a big heart and so hard to stoop to her level and be the bee, but I am damn sure going to demand respect. I do from anyone else. She should be no different. As the months went by, I realized that my wife had no intention of truly working on our marriage. She continued to see the man she had cheated on me with, even though she promised to end it. She would tell me one thing and do another, leaving me confused and hurt. I knew I had to do something, so I decided to file for divorce. The divorce process was long and painful. My wife fought me every step of the way, trying to take everything she could from me. She wanted the house, the cars, and even our son. I couldn't believe she was acting this way after everything we had been through. I tried to reason with her, to come to some sort of agreement, but she was stubborn and cruel. She would say things like, "You're not man enough for me," or "I never loved you anyway." It was like she was a completely different person than the woman I had married. Eventually, we went to court and the judge ruled in my favor. I got to keep the house, the cars, and custody of our son. My wife was furious, screaming and crying in the courtroom. I felt a small sense of satisfaction that justice had been served, but it was quickly replaced by sadness. I couldn't believe that the woman I had loved for over a decade had become this bitter and hateful person. I realized that I had to let her go and move on with my life. It was hard, but it was the right thing to do. Months went by and my wife still tried to contact me, saying she missed me and wanted to work things out. But I knew better than to fall for her lies again. I had to protect myself and my son from her toxic behavior. In the end, I found someone who loved me for who I was and treated me with respect. It was a long and painful journey, but I learned a lot about myself and what I wanted in a partner. And even though my divorce was mean and messy, I came out stronger on the other side. My comment: go get what you want in a partner, and if she's not what you want, find someone else. You have a choice. Story 2. I am desperate. I have done the stupidest thing imaginable, and now I am at a complete loss. I was having a stupid argument with my husband about a month and a half ago. I thought he was talking to some girl online. I demanded to see everything. He opened up to me completely, showed me his email and everything else I asked to see. I did see a Facebook exchange from 2 days before. There was nothing in the conversation to be upset about until the end when she said something kind of flirty. He replied back and said that her comment was inappropriate, and that there would be no further contact if it continued. She apologized and then there was nothing else. I hadn't said anything before or even been looking before. I just got upset when I saw the new friend on his account. She looked like trouble. Here's where I got stupid. Really stupid. I started playing an online game on M-Phone the week before. I confronted him. After a while of playing, I met some guy that was fun to play with. We talked. It all was so innocent. When I saw the friend request, I told my online friend about it. We chatted on it for a long time. He made me feel like I really needed to look into it. Made me feel really nervous about the entire thing. This went on. I started confiding in this guy. I told him all sorts of personal things I hadn't told anyone. We exchanged numbers and he started texting me at work. He asked if I wanted his picture. I said yes. He sent a nude photo. I told him that wasn't what I wanted. He said sorry, it won't happen again. We went on talking for a few more days like nothing had happened. I started staying up late playing with this guy. I was really enjoying the attention. He told me he had feelings for me. I said I did too. The chat started getting really flirty. I didn't stop it. After a few days we started dirty texting. I felt emotionally attached to him. Like I needed him. I kept asking myself what I was doing, but I kept doing it. I sent him some pictures of myself. He sent me more pictures. Things were moving really fast. I felt out of control. I stopped paying any attention to my husband. When I got home, I would say I was tired and asked him to make a sandwich for dinner for himself. I then went to bed and got on the game. 3 days ago, my phone shut off. I came home thinking I would ask my husband what was going on when I got home. When I got home, the electricity was off. The water too. I went to the bedroom and saw a red box on the bed. It had a pretty bow on it and was in our bed, which he made before placing the box down on it. I was shaking. I couldn't make sense of it. I opened the box to find a stack of printed paper and my husband's wedding ring. He had found and printed out every conversation I had had with the guy. All of our texts and emails. Even emails from the email address the guy told me I should get. I couldn't believe it. There was a note too. It said, "I hope you are happy together." What do I do? I don't want that guy. In fact, I hate him now. I can't believe I've done this. How do I fix this? What do I say to my husband to make it right when I see him again? Married 3 years. Together 7. No children. I don't know where he is. His family won't talk to me. He doesn't have many friends outside of work and I don't really know them. I called his work phone but he doesn't answer. I'm embarrassed to say that I did. I let him do most of the talking. I don't know how to explain, but I felt like I had to keep him interested. I sent a close-up of my privates. I sent some pictures of a revealing top. I was a little bored in our relationship, and I felt like I wasn't getting enough affection, but there was nothing seriously wrong in our marriage. This was all me. I don't know why I did this. I know it's unforgivable, but I really hope my husband can forgive me. I said things I had no business saying to another man. I think that's what caused him to dump me like he did. This was the first and will be the last as well. I don't know why I allowed myself to get so out of hand. I'm so completely ashamed, but I'll do anything to get my husband back. I don't know why he would believe me. He doesn't have a good reason. I just hope he will. It's the first time I've done anything like this. I hope my husband doesn't see it the way you do. I've never done anything like this before. I don't even know why I did it now. I want to fix the damage I've done, undo the hurt I've caused, get my husband back. Yes, he treated me like a princess, but I don't need that. I just want him back. I'm in Texas. The guy was in Utah. The texting and pictures all started about 3 weeks in. We were saying I love you and things like that about 2 weeks in. I am panicked. I deserve what I've gotten and more. We had discussed affairs before marriage. I was cheated on repeatedly by my previous boyfriend, so we agreed any cheating was a deal breaker. While I was talking to the guy, I was lying to myself. I said since we weren't having real bonding, it wasn't really cheating. I thought I would just stop if my husband found out and everything would just return to normal. I can't believe how stupid I have been. The lies I told myself and believed. I know I can never make up for it, but I'll do anything for the chance. I have a few friends, but I don't want to tell them what I've done. They were always so supportive of us. My family is out of state. I can't bear the thought of telling my parents. I don't want to hurt them too. I am so sorry I hurt him, but I can't tell him that if I can't talk to him. I will meet any demand and do whatever it takes to make this up to him, no matter what or how long. I am embarrassed and ashamed and hurting, but part of that is knowing how much I hurt him. I have been cheated on. I know exactly what I did to him. I just don't know how I can let him know how sorry I am. I sent a ton of emails. I called his work. I tried to visit his office at work, but security turned me away before I got in the building. I called his parents, but they don't answer. Update, but I am going to try and answer questions first. If I miss your question, I'm sorry. 1. I didn't go away. I fell asleep because I had taken prescription sleep medication and wasn't used to it. I wound up oversleeping, then calling out to work sick. I filled my day today with things relating to this. I'll explain better in the update. 2. And not sorry I got caught. I'm sorry there was a reason for me to get caught. I should never have done any of this, and that's what I am sorry about. 3. I never met the guy in Utah in real life. I had no interest in meeting him. It's hard for me to explain because it's so stupid, but the truth is I wasn't interested in any kind of real relationship with him. What made him appealing was that he could only be a fantasy. He wasn't real to me. The thought of actually being with him wasn't as unappealing. I realized more and more this was all about me getting attention, and he gave me a lot of it. Any text or email and he responded within minutes. If I texted, I was getting on the game he would get on right away. I didn't want him, but I did love the attention. I wasn't turned on by the dirty texting. I went along with it because I felt like it was what I had to do to keep him interested. I convinced myself I loved him, but honestly, I really didn't. I was infatuated at best. I could never picture myself actually being with him. 4. The emails were complete. I deleted them, but I didn't empty my trash, so he probably got them there. All of the texts he printed were the ones I sent. The chat in the game was all what I sent. 5. I started neglecting my husband some early on. About a week into this, when I still thought he was just an online friend, but he had just told me he had feelings for me. 6. I'm not trickle truth, lying, or looking for easy answers. The timeline is as accurate as I can make it at the moment. If something is off, it's not intentional. I'm not 100% in my right mind right now. I know I need help. I don't see how anyone could give me sound advice if I wrong information. I know there are no easy answers, so I don't expect it. 7. I'm certain this was not a trick played on me by my husband. If this was all an elaborate scheme by my husband, then I am still at fault. I'm the one that had the options to make the right or wrong decisions. I am able to afford the bills. I work. My husband makes more than double what I make, but we live in a small country house and drive modest cars. We were saving more than half our income so we could have an early retirement together. When he left, he took half of our savings, but there's still enough in the bank for me to live a few years on if I wasn't working. I make enough to pay all of the bills on my own. When he was here, he paid all of the bills. I only bought the groceries. Half of my income went into savings, and the rest was disposable income. So, the update. I woke up late and called out to work sick. I actually did manage to catch a cold on top of everything. I started by sending another email to my husband. I didn't beg this time. I simply said how sorry I was and that I will do whatever he wants. I called my parents first. They were supportive but made it clear that I screwed up. My mother cried. I told my best friend. She yelled at me, told me to put on my big girl panties and talk to his parents. I went to his parents' house. My mother-in-law wouldn't talk to me. She only said that her son had been drinking heavily the past few days and that she was worried for him. She told me it was my fault for being a b. My father-in-law came and sat on the porch with me. I confessed everything and apologized for all of it. I told him it was all my fault and what a wonderful husband his son has been. He told me he would talk to him, but that I wasn't welcome back without my husband. My husband emailed me back. I had to meet him in a restaurant for an early dinner. He told me if he caught me lying about anything, he would finish what I started. When I got there, he gave me 2 sets of papers. The first set was just divorce papers. They split everything 50/50. The second set was his demands for reconciliation, which also included divorce papers. But those divorce papers split everything 2/3 in his favor. He said I could choose, but either way I need to sign one. I agreed to sign the papers in his favor in exchange for him to make an attempt to reconcile. For his terms I have to 1. Pay for weekly counseling for me, more if needed. 2. Pay for weekly marriage counseling, more if needed. 3. Destroy all clothes I wore while talking to the guy or anything I sent a picture of myself in. 4. Replace our bed, pillows, sheets. 5. Get rid of my smartphone and get one with minimal capabilities. 6. Give him complete access to everything. Full transparency. 7. Answer any questions he has when he has them as often as he wants. 8. Have no contact with the other man ever. He doesn't even want a no-contact letter. Nothing at all. That's not a problem. I haven't talked to him at all since this started. 9. Tell our church, my family, his family, and my friends. 10. I have to take care of the bed, sheets, pillows, and clothes before he will move back in. 11. I have to give him a complete timeline of everything and fill in any blanks. If anything is missing or if I lie in any way, he said he's done. I believe him. I forgot to put that he's going to pick the therapist, and if he doesn't like one, we have to change. I know I did that horrible thing for attention. I also know I don't know why that attention was so important to me. It's just one thing I need to resolve in therapy. I need the answers to things like this so I don't do this again. My husband will need the answers to heal from what I've done. My husband is a very black and white thinker. He is analytical, and he is a very grab the bull by the horns type person. He has probably looked at dozens of sites about this. He tends to research things, find the best advice, then act. He has been this way as long as I've known him. The reason for telling the church. We took our vows in that church. I violated those vows. We will retake our vows if the reconciliation goes well, but I will not get to have any illusions as to why we are retaking our vows. The bed is a hard one for me to admit to. I was chatting with the guy in Utah while my husband was sleeping in bed next to me. He wants that memory erased. So, the bed, sheets, pillows must all go. The same with any clothes I wore around that time. I agree completely with his thinking. He is not breaking me financially like someone said. I believe he has good reasons for everything he demanded. Like the favorable divorce papers. He was taking a chance taking me back. He wanted me to show I was willing to do the same. A quick update. I also ordered our new bed and had a full day shopping for clothes and bed sheets. I've decided to replace all of my clothes to be sure I don't miss anything. I actually bought them more to his taste. I'm hoping he likes them. He's not coming home until I've got the new bed and clothes in place, but we do have a date tonight, so I will be going after this post. Oh, the no contacts. My husband wants to handle it. The guy has sent me a few emails, but I haven't opened them. I told my husband about them and will let him decide if he wants to read or delete them. I don't have the same phone number now, so there's no concern for me about him texting. He wants to remove what he sees as reminders. I have already taken care of most of these. He believes it will be harder for him to move on if he has constant reminders of what happened in his face. I agree. I don't see it as excessive. I'm more than happy to do what it takes to help him get past this. On our date last night, we talked a lot about the divorce papers and his reconciliation list. We also discussed ways to strengthen our marriage so there will never be a repeat. He decided to modify 9. He thinks it would be better if I just discussed the issue with our pastor. I think this a much better way to do it, rather than the other. In the end I have to go with what he thinks. The divorce papers will be shredded when or if we renew our vows. The real problem we're having is that he believes the only reason I didn't sleep with the guy is the distance between us. In his mind it was a physical affair that I simply wasn't able to consummate. The truth is the distance is part of what made it appealing. There is no way to prove that, and my husband is not a mind reader, so he will never really know. He asked me a lot of tough questions last night, but this is the only place where we really got stuck. A few people have said his reaction was excessive, and the terms are excessive, but in the end only my husband knows what he needs to deal with this. I don't believe this will be a forever problem, unless I block his attempts to heal from it by not accepting what he needs. I have to admit on some levels I actually enjoyed yesterday's shopping spree. I just wish it had been for a good reason, and not a result of this. The therapy is to do some introspection, both to see if there are things that contributed to my behavior, and also to help me through this. He will be taking himself to therapy as well. We talked about selling our house and getting one closer to his work. We both agree that our time apart has a lot to do with what happened and that his 2-hour commute is a big reason for that. At this point the guy was still an online friend. It progressed into more right after. Just as bad. I squandered his trust. His integrity remains intact. If he did lose it, then yes, I would have to say that I created the situation that left him vulnerable. But he would still be the one that made the decision, just as I was the one that made the poor decisions I made. I really am ashamed of the things I did. I have a hard time reconciling why it let it happen and why I let it get so out of control. I think my husband's reaction showed me life without him in an instant, and it was miserable. When I saw what I was losing, I saw what I was doing in a clearer light. I knew then how wrong I was and what was truly important to me. I wanted to add to this a bit. At some point in the marriage, I decided it was all right to have my secrets. I now realize that played a part in my actions. If I had been completely open about everything I was doing, I never would have felt comfortable doing what I did. Now, I know better and believe my husband has a right to know about everything I do. If he sees this, he has a right to. I try not to think about it though. I see my actions in this forum as being for me, so I don't want to post here with the idea in my head of how my husband will see this. I need to be able to post freely here. It's been 5 days for me and my husband still isn't home. He's been drinking heavily and he's sitting on some very favorable divorce papers. This is absolutely nerve-wracking. This could all turn very sour in an instant. I really fail to see the perfection in it. I really wish my husband had confronted me in the beginning. I know he had his reasons, but I think things might be better right now. I can't help but feel that things are far from ideal right now. I'm not self-flagellating. I made some very bad choices, and I'm owning up to them. Maybe I'm too much of a wreck to think straight. Who wouldn't be? I'm just frustrated that I can't talk to him right now. The house feels so empty, and I know it will be a couple more days like this. I really want him here. No, I need him here. I need to have him home with me. I know we need to talk, and that just isn't happening right now. He came home. Long talk so far. He's asked lots of hard questions. He's asking about things that never even happened. It's like he's digging for more, looking for me to confess something he doesn't know. It's very hard, even the questions about the things that did happen. I'm sure you all know that some of the question will never have a right answer and only lead to harder questions. He went out to get us some coffee and give us a few-minute break. They didn't really end last night, more like early this morning. I'm exhausted. It continues on now that we're both home from work. He just went out for coffee again. He's really looking for something, but I just don't have any more to tell. I've told him everything in horrible graphic detail. I've said everything to the best of my memory, and I remember it pretty well. I swear he's looking for more, but there just isn't any more to tell. I can't believe how hard some of these questions have been. He's mentioned a polygraph. I'm completely willing. I do worry about false positives. Good idea to offer to schedule it. You're right about the iceberg thing. He's really digging for something worse. So last night the interrogation continued. He kept digging and digging like the day before. He asked, "What's this number? Has this person seen your crap too?" I had to say yes, it's my gynecologist. There was a mix-up on the scheduling at their office. He saw that I called that number about 5 times that day. Just an example of the rabbit trails he went down. It came out that one of the things he's so upset about is that I never did any texting with him. He feels like I gave that first to the other man. I see his point. I apologized and begged forgiveness for it, but there is no way I can ever fix that. Just another example of how badly I screwed things up. Would it help any if I sent him pictures now, or just make it worse? He went out for coffee and I posted my quick update. When he got back, he was right back at it, just grilling me. Then he started asking questions that made me worry. Could he have a girlfriend too? How much should he screw around to make it even? I said please don't. I was on top of him crying snot bubbles at this point. He asked, "Don't what?" I said please don't do what I did to you. I'm so sorry. I told him how sorry I was. How I never knew how much I would hurt him. I really had no idea how bad this would be. How much pain it would cause. I feel so stupid for not knowing what should have been obvious. Then suddenly, bonding. That's the only way to put it. It was hours of grinding, pounding, bonding. Positions we never tried before. Just ridiculous bonding. He usually wakes me up in the morning. We have coffee together. I pick out a tie for him. That sort of thing. This morning I only woke up because he slammed the door on the way out. He's been ignoring my texts all day. I'm completely confused. Was he dominating me? Showing me what a B I am? Proving he could perform? Screwing with my head? The bonding, it was almost planned, but not by my husband. My husband was sleeping next to me for some of it. The guy was someone I would never be interested in real life, so that was a failure if it was planned. I mean never be interested in. He wasn't very attractive. He was unmotivated, unemployed, and a bit of a pervert. I know I pushed things forward on not paying much attention to my husband. On some level I thought if I ignored him, he would notice me more, and I wouldn't feel so interested in getting attention from some guy online. It worked at first, but then he became even more aloof. I got bitter and let the guy push things along faster. He was all kind of a sick cycle. An update, just more of the same. He's supposed to be home early today, again. I think that's a first in the history of my husband. With the exception of the last few days, his Monday thought Friday has always been. Get ready for work. 2-hour commute. 9 hours at work. 2-hour commute home. Dinner, a martial arts class, or workout in the home gym. 50-50 odds of bonding. Sleep. I always looked forward to Saturday night. We always watch a movie. It's pretty much the only cuddle affection time I get apart from bonding. I have a feeling that won't be the case for a long time. The bonding last night was not affectionate, but I'm not surprised considering. I guess I'm just sad that I'm losing Saturday night. So, it turns out I really am the dumbest person here. I had my emotional affair after being neglected through our short marriage. He was wrong, I know that. What I didn't know was why I was being neglected. I thought he was working all of those hours. I thought he had a long commute. Ugh, why was I so stupid? I've been bending over backwards trying to prove myself to him, trying to make our reconciliation work. I found his burner phone today, which resulted in me finding his secret email account and more. He has been cheating with at least 3 other women. I haven't been able to find out how far back it goes, but it looks like he has been cheating the entire time we've been married. He will be home soon, and I plan to confront him when he gets here. I don't think I can hold this in. I don't know what I want, or what to expect from him. I guess I should thank him for showing me how to deal with a cheat. I really can't go into detail, so I'm just posting a quick response before I go away. For obvious reasons, I won't be able to come here for support in the future. Yes, I posted here knowing he could read it. I knew he was on his way home and wanted him to sweat it out on the drive. I also wanted to make sure I didn't chicken out of confronting him. It will be a divorce. He's been lying our entire marriage. I never had a clue. For one thing, it turns out he makes more than he let me believe. He was using the money I didn't know about to finance his other life. At least now I understand the why of some issues that never made sense before. Even if I could get over the level of deceit and the things he was saying about me to other women, I know I could never do the things he's into. He lied about everything when I confronted him. He didn't admit to one thing, not even the pictures of himself. I thought I would cry or something, but after the initial confrontation I've been numb. I just don't feel anything. I'm packing up right now. He's away until Monday. I told him I was going to send everything to his parents and he turned violent. I plan to be out of here before he can come back. I just wanted to say thank you to all of you. Some of the questions you asked caused me to start looking. Can't go into detail here, but things are going very well for me now. By comment, it seems OP is doing fine in the way. What did you think about this turn of event? Comment down, sub and see you in the next one.